if she had a menstrual cycle all month long, this made her continually unclean according to the law. In Leviticus chapter 15, the social problem she had, the religious problem she had, on top of a physical problem. The ailment probably started at puberty. For consider giving an average life expectancy of about 40 years and 12 years, she had been ill. She may have spent half or all her adult life with this trouble. If this woman touched anyone or anyone's clothes, she rendered that person ceremonially unclean. Popular belief had it that a person's dignity and power extended to what they wore. So when this woman touched Jesus, she would not have rendered him ceremonially unclean. Why? Because when she touched him, he healed her of her infirmity and he cleaned and dried up her issue. So consequently, Jesus was protected and not affected. God exercised his power through Jesus, and as a result, the woman's faith was rewarded. Her touch was a touch of faith. That's why Jesus didn't see her, but he felt her. I said her touch was a touch of faith. That's why Jesus didn't see her, but he felt her. This is why Jesus asked, "Who touched me?" According to Mark chapter 5, verse 31, and his disciples said unto him, "Thou seest the multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, Who touched me?" They said to Jesus, "You see all these people surrounding you. Why would you say, Who touched me?" We must understand that there is a difference between pressing and crowding Jesus and touching Jesus. Many crowd Jesus. We crowd him by reading much, but it's for contention's sake. So we're just crowding Jesus and not touching him, attending services out of habit because we don't want the pastor to say anything to us. We're just pressing Jesus and crowding Jesus. We're not touching him, singing hymns and singing songs that we don't even live up to. We're merely crowding Jesus and pressing Jesus, but we're not really touching Jesus, making impassioned prayers to be seen and heard, praying to deceive people into thinking we are really saved and separated when the contrary is the truth. We are simply crowding Jesus and not touching him. However, we need to draw close to Jesus in faith and draw close to Jesus in belief. It's one thing to throne Jesus, but quite another to trust Jesus. Things may crowd and fight your mind as you draw close to Jesus, but you have to press through it. You gotta live through it. No doubt the woman may have pondered in her mind and said within herself, "I have no business here. The law forbids me to even be in the public." She might have said to herself, "I'm not important enough to ask Jesus for help." She might have thought within herself, "After all, nothing else has helped, so why try Jesus?" It's not right, she said, may have said, to ask Jesus as a last resort after visiting all those physicians. But I submit to you today, when you tried everything and everything else has failed, you ought to try Jesus. I know that's the song we sing, but don't wait till everything else has failed. You need to try Jesus, not another second, not another minute, not another hour, but you need Jesus right now. Try Jesus. He's got everything you need. she had to press regardless of the circumstances. While what she needed from Jesus was within her reach, but it was only within her reach when she drew close to him. She had to press through circumstances. She had to press through rejection. She had to press regardless of her condition, because she knew if I can just get close to Jesus, what I need would be within my reach. We too have to have the same mentality. Things may crowd your mind, but you have to press through what's crowding your mind. Your past is constantly staring you in the face, but just tell yourself, I gotta get close to Jesus. Sins that you have committed, that you feel you can never bounce back from, if you can just get close to Jesus, healing for your soul will be within your reach. Drawing close to Jesus can seem almost impossible when you have been in the condition you are in for so long. But if you can muster up the strength to get close to Jesus, your deliverance will be within your reach. God has whatever you need. Whatever you need is within your reach. But we have to draw close so we can touch Jesus. Healing is within your reach. Deliverance is within your reach. I said everything you need, God's got it. Freedom is within your reach. All spiritual blessings are within your reach. But you got to get close to Jesus. We're walking too far from Jesus, and the reason we can't touch him is because he's not within your reach. And the only way for Jesus and what he has in store for you, you can reach out and grab it, but you got to get close to him. How do I get close to Jesus? You got to learn how to grab a hold to the horns of the altar and tell God, I'm not going to let you go until you bless my soul. I may walk away limping, but I will be loaded. I said I may walk away limping, but I'll be loaded with power, loaded with authority. Why? Because I got to get next to Jesus. You know how it is when you're trying to be in relationship, Elder Tim, and you trying to get close to somebody. You do things you wouldn't otherwise do because you're trying to get close to Sister Mary. I say you're trying to get close to the girl or the man you want, and you may not even like chocolate, but you eat chocolate if you think she like it because you're trying to get close to her. You go places you wouldn't otherwise go. You go stare at the moon because that's what she wants you to do because you're trying to get close to him. But what about Jesus? I said if you love Jesus, you ought to do whatever it takes to get close to Jesus. If he tell you to jump, you ought to say how high. If he tell you to cross, you ought to say how wide. If he tell you to preach, say what's the text. And when he says I'm finished, you say Lord, what's next? Why? Because you're trying to get close to Jesus. And I said if you touch Jesus, he'll touch your back. Because everything you need, I said God's got it. God's got it. If you want joy, God's got it. If you want peace, peace in your mind, God's got it. I said if you want love, love everlasting, pure love, not feigned love, but pure love, I said God's got it. Everything you need, God's got it. If you want money, the Bible says that